Please, it's 7 o'clock, so we will start the meeting. If you'll please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming tonight. First up, B1, we have report by the superintendent. However, he's not here, so we'll have a report by the deputy superintendent, Dr.
I'm
Southwick.
a stand-in, so
Stand in.
I'll try to do a good job for you tonight. First of all, allow me to give congratulations to Shawnee Mission West art teacher Kim Shockey. She did this year's school district art acquisition, Rocky. Rocky is an acrylic portrait of her fiance's American Bulldog. Kim, we thank you for sharing your artistic talents with the district and for your work to enhance the artistic abilities of our students each day in the classroom. Kim Barney, I think, is going to
Good
say a word or
evening.
two.
My name is Kim Barney. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and it's my pleasure tonight to share a little more information about Kim Shockey and her work. And I've asked Dr. Schumacher to come up so that he can properly display the portrait.
You do it well.
Okay, Kim is in her second year of teaching art at Shawnee Mission West High School. In addition to teaching, Kim also freelances commissioned pet and people portraits. Prior to attaining her degree in education, Kim worked as a graphic designer, and she thoroughly enjoyed working in this field. However, she now feels very privileged to teach graphic design at the high school. She shares that she has been overwhelmed by the generosity and support she found among West students and staff, and it's truly exhilarating to see such talent among the students and know that she has made an impact on their future. Regarding her piece titled Rocky, she submitted the following description. This acrylic portrait is of my fiance's blue-blooded American Bulldog, appropriately named Rocky. After several photo sessions, I was able to photograph this expression as a model for my painting. I used multiple layers of color and several washes to capture the rich colors in his coat. I am very honored that this painting was chosen, and my son has already let me know how I can spend some of the award money on him this Christmas. Kim, would you please join us up here at the podium?
I know, Lena.
And Kim, I kind of recognize this technique. Weren't you a winner last year as well? Okay, so this is 2 years in a row for Kim. We have the other painting of the older gentleman that hangs in our office. So, Grandpa, I think is that? Yeah, yeah. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you. I have to say that the painting really struck a chord with us because one of the themes this year is Be More Dog.
That's right.
And so that was one of the things that we immediately saw, and then we loved the painting anyway. But yeah.
It was awesome. As a district, we celebrate the work of our administrators who have recently achieved their doctoral degrees. Dr. Todd Dane, principal at Shawnee Mission South, earned his doctorate in education through Baker University earlier this year. Dr. Ryan Fleury, also at South, has recently earned his doctorate in education from Baker University as well. We celebrate the example of achievement that they've set for our students and their commitment to educational excellence. We also appreciate their guidance to other administrators who might choose to pursue their doctorate degree. We value that and think it's very important. So congratulations to those men for their work. Thousands of students in the Shawnee Mission School District have participated this week in the Hour of Code. This world event encourages students and their teachers to dedicate time and learning computer science skills. Earlier this evening, we featured the Hour of Code activities as a part of our work session presentations. Last week, I had the pleasure of attending the assembly where it was announced that Blue Jacket Flint had received a $10,000 grant for school participation in the Hour of Code. The school has plans to use the funding to support science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education at the school. And I will tell you, I had a 5th grader, a 3rd grader, and a 1st grader try to teach me coding. I'm not as fast a learner as what they are, but it was an awesome day. The winter athletic season is underway, but we wanted to highlight some of the achievements of our district's athletes in this fall. More than 1,700 students participated this fall in golf, tennis, volleyball, soccer, gymnastics, cross-country, and football. The Shawnee Mission East girls golf team earned the 2015 6A state championship trophy. The team was coached by Hermano Richel. I hope I got that right. I practiced today. Josephine Cal, senior at Shawnee Mission West, earned first place singles title in the 6A state girls tennis. She is coached by Paige Salvador. The Shawnee Mission East student, Sarah Wilcox, claimed second place in singles, as well as the teams from Shawnee Mission East and Shawnee Mission West finished in 2nd and 3rd place, respectively. The 6A state cross-country individual champions of Shawnee Mission students, Celeste Akalu, I think that's right, close, Sarah tells me. A senior from Shawnee Mission North is a boys state cross-country champion. Shawnee Mission North cross-country is coached by Aaron Davidson. Molly Bourne, a sophomore from Shawnee Mission Northwest, is the girls state cross-country champion. Shawnee Mission Northwest cross-country is coached by Van Rose. While these are a few of the highlights we are proud of and celebrate, we also celebrate the many personal and team achievements of our school district athletes and coaches. I have to take a moment to say that I think engagement is important for our students. Not only their academic work, but their extracurricular activity as well. I would hope we get to a point in time that we can say 100% of all of our students in the Shawnee Mission School District are involved in some kind of extracurricular activity. We have work to do, but, and it doesn't just have to be in school, but we know the data tells us that kids that are involved in extracurricular programs do better academically and do better in life. So that's work that we'd like to continue. We got a construction update, which will be fairly short tonight. We recently have had meetings with the faculty and staff, and also open to the public, the PTA, some of the new design work for Benninghoven School. We're a little bit behind on this. I have to admit that we wanted to have groundbreakings in 4 elementary schools. Dr. Henson gave me a pass on Benninghoven and said we can do that in March. But I think we've met our deadline in terms of having great designs of 4 elementary schools, and we're working on the 5th. So look forward to an invitation to that groundbreaking probably sometime in March. In addition to that, I've got some pictures tonight of the Center for Academic Achievement, making great progress there. We were able to get out of the ground without having much delay. The rain caused us some problems, but at this point in time, J.E. Dunn, our contractor, says that they can swing steel all winter. So we will, we think, be on time for sometime early of 17 for us to begin to move in and occupy that building. And we'll continue to bring pictures back to you as well. In Briarwood, they're out of the ground. All the infrastructure's in. As you can see, they're pouring columns and structure supports. They're putting in plumbing. We have a pretty good jump start on Briarwood, and we believe that we're on a time schedule to meet that as well, hopefully sometime around Christmas of next year. Trailwood, we have recently received all of our permitting from Overland Park, which gives us an opportunity to move forward. With the rain, we've done a little fly ash work over there to stabilize the soil, so we don't have any plumbing out of the ground or any footings in, but they are starting some pad work that'll allow them to work through the winter. We did, I don't have a report tonight on Crestview because that came in this afternoon, and I'd already talked to Dr. Neal about adding some pictures late for the other buildings. So I'll just tell you that we've broken ground, we're moving dirt, we've hit rock. Dr. Denny, you know what that means. And we're working on some of the sewers and some of the water drainage, but I'll have pictures for that work next month. So, and that concludes my construction report.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, C1, presentation by the Shawnee Mission Education Foundation. Linda Roser.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodburn, and good evening to the board. We're going to continue our STEM conversation that carries over from what you heard in the workshop this evening. We have two community investors that I am going to be introducing to you. First, I must acknowledge Dr. Strike and Dr. Ziegler. They are our partners in helping me communicate with our investors so that we can find the best right fit for our investors to join us as partners in what we're doing in our schools. So I do want to say thank you there. First, I would like to introduce Patty Robb. You want to stand up, Patty? Sure. Patty Robb is the local trustee of the J.R. Albert Foundation out of Chicago. Ms. Robb has discretion in recommending an annual grant, and I am very pleased to announce a $10,000 grant award in support of professional development to expand Project Lead the Way at the high school level. The grant will fund training for educators in principles of engineering and computer science and software engineering, making it possible to offer these classes at all 5 high schools next year. In addition, the grant will also fund training for computer science applications, the next course in the computer science sequence at North. I think we all agree on the importance of having these foundational courses available to all high school students in their home school. Thank you, Mrs. Robb, for choosing to recommend Shawnee Mission for grant support. Please extend our sincere thanks to the board of the J.R. Albert Foundation. For our next presentation, I welcome Mr. Roe Tolliver to the podium.
Thank you. Proceed.
Proceed.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm Monroe Tolliver, Roe to most people. I live at Courage Court with my wife of 66 years, Helen, in Prairie Village, where I was mayor for 10 years. So I'm more accustomed to being on your side of the dais than I am on this side. But I appreciate the opportunity of being here. Joining me this evening are Rob Salerno, our executive director at Courage Court, and Jack Mahurin, the president of the Courage Court Executive Council, and Susan Gilmore, our chief finance director. Thank you for giving me the opportunity on behalf of Courage Court to be here with you this evening. About 3 years ago, maybe 4, Brad Stratton and I corresponded about how our residents at Courage Court could fulfill a role as a member of the Prairie Village and the community beyond the gates of Courage Court. Perhaps Brad thought we had lost interest because it was a long wait, but Courage Court continued to seek a meaningful way to be socially accountable. We are grateful for the advice and counsel of Linda Roser, who wisely directed us to the project Lead the Way, the PLTW project launch in 5 elementary schools in Prairie Village. Courage Court, an active, vibrant living center, welcomes this opportunity to demonstrate that we are aware of the community beyond our walls. Thank you very much for accepting our gift, which will be awarded just a moment, to the Shawnee Mission Schools through the Shawnee Mission Education Foundation. Our gifts will underwrite the Courage Court Living Life Fund for the foreseeable future. Susan Gilmore, come here.
I get the easy part.
Out of your way.
It is our pleasure, truly, to partner with the Education Foundation in the school district to bring Project Launch to the elementary schools of Prairie Village. And we look forward to a long and beneficial collaboration.
You want to announce the amount?
Oh, yes, well, it's here. The total that's going to be donated to fund the initiative at those schools will be $42,500.
Double up here.
Oh, dear. We're not done yet.
That concludes our presentation. I would say happy holidays.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
It's a wonderful gift. Thank you so much. Do we have, Terry, do we have anyone for open forum? We don't. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll wait. Okay. E1, the approval of minutes from our regular meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Denny. Who was over here? Sorry.
Mrs. Bisfield.
Thank you, Mrs. Bisfield. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Approval of the minutes from our special meeting of December 7th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Seelas. Thank you, Mrs. Neighbor. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Adoption of the agenda, F1.
Move for the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you, Mrs. Mack.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Denny. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. G1, routine, approval of routine business by consent.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Denny. Thank you, Mrs. Neighbor. Is there any discussion about any of the items on the consent agenda? No? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. That carries us down to T1, Action Business Services, Dr. Southwick.
Yes, I'm excited tonight to put before you and ask you to consider an agreement that we've been working on for several months with the city of Lenexa. We have Mike Bain, mayor, here tonight. Eric Wade, city manager, has been working with Dr. Henson in our office to look at a collaboration of a spot that will be an awesome place for our aquatic center moving forward. So tonight you have the MOU agreement that is, again, is a lot of months of work. Actually, we finished up late this afternoon. You know how attorneys are. They volley back and forth a little bit, but we brought before you tonight that for consideration for that agreement. And Eric, I don't know whether, or Mr. Mayor, if you'd like to come forward and make the comment.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to say a few words tonight. On behalf of the city of Lenexa, Mayor Boehm, and the council members, we're very pleased that we've gotten to this milestone in terms of creating a better future for the community that we all serve. I want to thank Dr. Southwick and Dr. Henson. We've gone back and forth trying to create an opportunity that is great for both the city and for the school district. I think you're all aware, but for people who are here tonight that aren't aware, our Civic Center is under construction right now. It has a 100,000 square foot recreational center, new city hall, a public market, Just this month, the Johnson County Public Library Board approved the relocation of the Lackman Branch Library to the Civic Center site as well. And with your investment as well, this is going to be a very special place to serve the public, the residents of our community, and a lot of people coming to our community to swim in meets and to enjoy what we have here in Johnson County. So I appreciate very much the chance to be a part of this, and we look forward to, what did you say earlier, Dr. Southwest, swinging some steel?
That's right.
Yeah, I'd
Swinging
like to
some
see
steel.
that. I think that sounds great. So be glad to answer any questions, and we look forward to, in a couple months, getting drawings done, and sometime in 2017, hopefully being under construction.
Yeah, I want to echo just a minute and not speak too much because I know we're on a time frame tonight, but it's refreshing for us to have sat down with Eric and his staff and the mayor and talk about visions of what could be and partnerships that could be. And I'm going to echo what Brad spoke about in a session that he had last week about how important it is for us to collaborate with cities and organizations and school districts so that we make this the very best place for our people to live and for our kids to get educated and our families to be healthy. And so I just appreciate that we're gonna have issues. We know that, but the attitude has been, we'll figure it out between the school district and the city. We'll figure it out. So I look forward to spending a lot of time with Eric over the next year or so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I move adoption.
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Denny. Thank you, Mrs. Bisfield. Is there any discussion on the board? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Okay, we're down to T1, comments from board members. I know Deb and Brad, I think you have things to say about KASB. Go ahead.
Sure, I'd like to share on behalf of Mrs. Zeal and I, we both attended the state convention of the Kansas Association of School Boards a couple weeks ago, and this was my first attendance at that meeting, so I just thought I'd share a few things that I took back. First of all, it's very helpful for me as a board member here in Shawnee Mission to get to know some of my colleagues around the state. Although we have a lot of different issues between the 280 plus school districts, we also have a lot of the same issues. And so it was very helpful to sit amongst my colleagues, all volunteers, over 500 of them, and share our experiences. It was very helpful to me. Some have been there many, many times, and a lot of others were the first time like myself. Sat in a couple of different workshops, one of which was around the state assessment tests. The Kansas Associated School Boards does a nice job of presenting data that's very helpful to us, both in terms of Kansas data, but also statewide and then nationwide relative data. So that was very helpful because as we go into the conversation about assessments next year, that was very helpful to have that as a baseline. And the other one was sitting in on two school finance conversations. Always helpful to understand not only the present situation we're in with the block grant formula, but also as it goes into the discussions for a new funding mechanism. We spent a lot of time talking about actual receipts that the state's taking in and how we can best be ready for keeping a balanced budget and being able to make financial decisions, not only for this school year that we're in, but in the next school year that we're beginning to budget in as well. So as a new board member, that was very helpful, and I was glad to be able to attend on behalf of the board, and I'll yield to Mrs. Zeal if you want to add comments.
I think you said it very well. You've summed it up very well. We had some interesting workshops, I think, during the 2 days that we were there. And Dale Dennis shared with us all the surveys that have been asked of all of our school districts across the state here, which is 11, I believe, is the number he came up with. That's a lot for one small time frame of a few months there. But anyway, but it was time well spent, I think, and it was an enjoyable time, and my best takeaway is always, we have a lot of differences, especially Shawnee Mission with a lot of the outlying school districts, but we all want to do what's best for kids. So that is absolutely our binding overall point of being there and doing things for kids. So it was a good time. It was good.
Thank you so much for representing us, both of you, and for taking the time out of your schedules that weekend to go. So we appreciate that. Any other board members have comments or anything they want to say? Oh, Ms. Neighbor.
I would just like to wish everybody a happy holiday period and rest and relaxation. And we need to have our running shoes on when we come back because we have lots of projects going and lots of buildings going up. And it'll be interesting to watch everything as it grows and expands and becomes a reality for our kids and our community. So happy holidays.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you for coming.